the most special job on the universe, because it's not only is it something where you get to really connect with people and bare your soul, but it's also the only job I know of in the world that you have an opportunity to change your life every single day, and you just never know.
Sweet. Well, I'm Adam, and this is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the record you released. I think like a couple days ago on Friday.
Yeah, man, a few days ago.
Amazing. Well, I always start off born and raised from Savannah, Georgia. Is that what I saw?
Yes, sir. That is correct. I'm from. I wasn't born there though. I was born actually in Maryland.
Oh,
Little known fact, but I moved when I was really young. Like when I was maybe 3 years old to Savannah. So that's all I really knew.
okay. Yeah. So Maryland to Savannah. And what was it like growing up there in Savannah, Georgia?
Oh, it's amazing, man. Savannah is like it's an unfair place to grow up in because everyone's so kind and it's such a gorgeous historical city. So the
Sure.
bar is kind of very high when you go anywhere else. But there's also just an amazing music scene there, and everybody wants to talk to you when you're there. There's good food. It was a really cool. I was also obsessed with, still am, like ghost stories and
Oh, yeah.
sort
Same
of
here, man. Is that a big
paranormal
spot
stuff.
for it?
Oh yeah. It was voted
Oh,
most haunted city in the world a few times.
damn.
Um,
I didn't even realize that.
or not in the world, in the country, but either way. Yeah, there's so much history, and I grew up loving that stuff, so I was spoiled for sure.
Yeah. You ever see a ghost? Like where you go? Did you guys go out and like chase
I
them as a
wish,
kid?
man. Yeah, definitely, but I never got to never got to see one, unfortunately. I still waiting for it.
Oh, that's cool
Oh,
though.
we have a visitor.
Oh, hello, puppy.
Hello. He's so sweet. Thank you.
You're interrupting your.
That's okay.
Are you like in a hotel or something?
No,
Or,
I'm just outside my apartment. Sorry, that
oh,
was
that's
a
amazing. That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I just shut my door and my little dog can't come in here just because
Yeah,
he was
my
saying he'd.
well, exactly. My dog is upstairs somewhere.
Oh,
But
okay.
but
Right
we
on.
we had a visitor anyway. So.
That's amazing. Yeah, I've been to Savannah before. There's a baseball team there, right? A minor league team.
Yeah, yeah. They got.
Cardinals, I think. Or is it the
I don't
Cardinals?
remember what they're called. What they used to be the Sand Gnats. I know there was a Savannah Sand Gnats. I don't know if that's what they still are, but I know like aren't they big on TikTok or something? Don't they do some like
Oh, I don't know. I went there. I was super young. Like,
yeah.
my parents, like, we were doing like a little East Coast thing, and we went and saw a game there. And I still have like this was like I don't know, early '90s, like the program, and like some of the
Oh
guys signed
yeah.
it. And I remember my
Nice.
dad and I were looking through it like I don't know, 10 years ago to see if any of the guys' names popped up, and
That's so
didn't
funny.
recognize anybody. But
That's all right. That's all
yeah,
right.
but that's the one thing I do remember about being in Savannah, Georgia. I want to say that they were like the cardinal. There was some bird. I want to, say, but I
Yeah.
have no idea.
It's always something like that. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
A sand gnat is a small bird if you think about it. So that is a it's we might be saying the same thing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Maybe it was the sand gnats.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
cannot remember. That's so funny. But how did you get into music? I saw like your grandfather was a musician, correct?
Yeah, he was. He was well, he still is, but he played with some unbelievable musicians growing up. But he was in this sort of jazz rock band that got pretty popular at the time, especially locally. But he played with a guy named Danny Gatton, who's one of the greatest guitarists who has ever lived. Um, and when Danny was like 15, and he used to show me videos of him just playing and all the crazy stuff that he could do. And he used to try to tell me like how far Danny could stretch his fingers on the fretboard, and then I would try to do that. And there's just, yeah, he was the first person that introduced me to the world of music for sure.
What did he play guitar? Is he a guitar player? Or what?
No, he was a drummer. He's a drummer and a singer, and uh, he plays a trumpet as well.
Oh, amazing. What
Yeah,
about your parents? Anyone musical, or is it really just from your
yeah. My
grandfather?
my everybody in my family except my sister is is very musical. My mom it's my mom's dad. who the
Mhm.
grandfather that got me into it. So it's kind of in her blood. She's got a good sense of rhythm and everything like that, but she never sat down and learned an instrument, but she is musical. And then my dad is a really talented pianist
Oh, cool.
and a drummer as well. So it's yeah, we
In the
get to talk
blood.
music. Yeah, definitely.
And where did you start out? Was it on guitar through your
Guitar.
grandfather?
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, but it wasn't through my grandfather. I mean, it was he was definitely the person that introduced me to that world, but um I just thought guitar was so cool and I wanted to learn how to play Stairway to Heaven. That was the kind of
Okay.
impetus for me
Oh, sure.
starting. And then once I did that, I was like, all right, well, I got to do something else. And then, here we are.
You just yeah, carried with that. How old were you when you started guitar?
I think it was 6 or 7. Yeah, 6 years old,
Dang.
something like that.
Okay.
Um, and I learned like a lot of just kind of it's like jazz stuff, and I started to go down the theory route pretty hard when I was younger. Um, but then when I went to boarding school for high school. So when I left there, I kind of just I fell in love with the acoustic stuff and the alternate
Uh-huh.
tunings and all the weird sort of chord shapes and different voicings. So after that, that was what I was all about. And there's not really lessons for that. That's more just kind of like, throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Were you songwriting at that point too? Or
On the guitar, yes, like I was writing licks and things like that and different
Mhm.
different songs on the guitar, but I was not writing words yet. I loved like creative writing, and I wrote a lot of like little short stories, and then later into high school I got into poetry a little bit more. But it wasn't until college that I really got into the words. And I mean, I've just kind of found that whole folky storytelling genre. Um, and it just spoke to me so much because those words were so powerful. It was almost like the music was there to support the words, which I
Mhm.
had never really experienced before. And then I just kind of thought that folkier music was the way to tie in poetry with everything that I'd been working on prior. And it's been perfect.
Yeah. Well, I did see, I mean, just based off your like social media, it says that you're a washed up college athlete. Were you in, did you play sport?
I did, yeah, super washed up. I played
Super washed up.
super washed up, yeah.
I mean, I'm just going off what you said on your
No, no, no. I
profile.
am. No, that's fair. That's what it's there for. I wouldn't dare spread false information. But no, I played soccer in college.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I played all through the whole time while I was there.
So you had to play through high school and everything else. Like,
Hmm?
I mean, to make it to that level, that had to be like a 5, 6 day a week thing, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, no, it was every day. My
or
my
everyday thing.
yeah. I mean, you take a you still rest, but it's like intentional rest. But that no, that was my whole life. Mentally and physically. It was all soccer my entire life, and then um, went and played D1 and did the whole thing, and then the music thing just kind of I don't know. I think I've always been very I guess spontaneous and very ambitious, and I think when something kind of presents itself, I would be a fool not to take it. So that's generally the rule of thumb that I live by, and then here we are now doing this.
Wow. Yes, I was because having that sort of discipline, I know to play at that level, like were you just playing guitar and doing the songwriting thing just like kind of as a side like habit
Yeah.
type
The
deal?
the well the music stuff, I mean, I knew I pursued it properly, but it was an escape for me. It was definitely the thing that I did when I wasn't playing soccer. And I didn't think I was good enough to like ever have a career in music. I thought maybe like music business or something like that, but I wanted to play soccer. I wanted to go play professional after college. And
Right.
I didn't my mind wasn't really on much else.
Mhm.
Um and then I think yeah, then like COVID happened, and all of a sudden all of my college was online, and I realized that I was just getting so much value out of um, I don't know, just committing to the words and committing to the music. And I would just set the lecture up. Not that I'm encouraging anybody to not go to school, you should, but uh, I would just set the lecture up in the other room and go write. And I just fell in love with it so heavily. And I was like, you know what, I don't really want to sit on the fence with this anymore. If I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna try it. And then I made sure I gave it the proper
Okay.
attention.
So was it then like when COVID happened, was that what kind of stopped your soccer career then? Or were you already kind of
No,
done with
so
it at that point?
we no we played through COVID. There were a lot of different like sanctions and things like that. And I still have a year of eligibility in NCAA because our season got canceled, um, which was a bummer. However, I was junior at that time, so I still had one more year. So my senior
Oh,
year, yeah, my senior year, um I played another season of soccer. So my career wasn't over just yet, but that was when I started the kind of really pushing for the music. And
okay.
there was an overlap period where I was doing both, and that was not easy, but it was
Yeah.
all worth it.
When did the music take over? Was there like a song or a moment or something that had happened that it kind
Well,
of was
take over
obvious
is
that
a
that
take over is a tough word because I was fully committed to the soccer and I was going to see my degree through. I wanted to get the piece of paper and I wanted to finish my duties as a soccer
uh-huh.
player properly. So fully take over, it didn't until I graduated. But
Okay.
when I like to think that without it fully taking over, I still gave it absolutely everything that I could while
Mhm.
I was still in the season. And that happened it was 2021 was when I released my first song, like January of 2021. Um, and then I signed a record deal in April of
Oh, wow.
2021, which was,
Was that with Broken?
yeah, that was with Broken. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So you put that out. I mean, it's that song is a monster. Like what kind of took it off?
that was that was like prime TikTok when I first released that one. Um, and I know it's a special song to me, and I know it's such a special song to so many people, which is awesome. And I think we've kind of come a long way from that, both in the
Yeah.
writing and the style, and also just socially speaking. Like uh, TikTok is significantly more saturated than it was then. And it was also kind of like, that song came out in a time when everybody was stuck inside and everybody was feeling it pretty
Right,
heavily.
right.
And so I think that song just kind of put a voice to this situation,
Mhm.
which is what I think folk music does. And so now doing what I'm doing now, it's like I think a lot of people get stuck in trying to have that happen again, like go hard on TikTok or go, crazy trying to reach people via this platform or this platform. And um, but I think that's not the reason why. I think it got lucky because TikTok was so fruitful. But I think the reason why that song landed is because it was reflective of what was happening
Yeah,
kind
the
of
time.
collectively. Yeah.
Sure. So like you was that I mean to put that out and have that be the first song you do and was it one of those things where you had put it up on TikTok or something and then it just like starts going viral and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like what is going on right now?" Like that must have been a wild kind of moment.
Yeah, that was absurd. I still think that was absurd. I mean, I have never um huh. Yeah, I mean, I like for example, my song The Roads, it's my number one song now. It does better than Broken every day. Um
Uh-huh. Which is awesome because that's your
which
new
is
your
amazing.
new
It's
record,
amazing.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is great, but also it didn't even come close to the kind of like virality that Broken had. It was so weird because it happened so fast. It was in the matter of like a few days. I went from 0 views to 2 million views, and then zero for like 100 followers to like 150,000 followers, and then after that, it just kept going. It kept going, and um, felt a lot of pressure to finish that song the right way. And
Yeah, I
fortunately
bet.
it came out great. But
Yeah, I can't imagine, but,
yeah,
like you were saying earlier, it's like, then do you what? Chase that, you know, you like, "Okay, well, that worked, like, I gotta kinda stay in that lane," or I've
uh,
had other,
yeah,
other artists I've spoke to that kinda had, like, a moment, like a TikTok moment, like M. Byhold, for example, like, she had a
yeah,
big moment on TikTok with a song, and then it was like, like, what do I do? Like, I'm glad you know what I mean? Like, do you try to
yeah.
keep
No,
chasing that?
M is a friend of mine, and that experience is not unique to anyone. Like that is exactly what everybody feels, I think, who came up, especially then. And even now, people who didn't come up that way, who are posting something and you get like a tiny hit of support on
Mhm.
one specific style, and you're like, I guess this is me now, because it's like all this external validation at your fingertips that happens so quickly. Um,
Sure.
but the way that I look at it, or that I've settled it in my brain, is like I was lucky enough to kind of be gifted an audience, people there to receive music and receive
Mhm.
my words via TikTok. And that happened very quickly. And I definitely felt the pressure to follow that up with something similar, or to, stay in that lane, or find my sound quickly because it happened so fast and all this stuff. But the truth is just it's a gift to have people there to listen in the first place. And I think what you do with that is entirely up to you after that point. And so to me, I got gifted this wonderful group of people that was there to support me and to open their ears. And from there, it was like, hey, mutual understanding. This happened so fast. Bear
Mhm.
with me while I figure it out. I'm going to keep giving you guys music. But I'm going to really hunker down over the next couple years and hone in on that sound that feels authentic to me, because you hear it in the music if it's not. And so I think with this project, this is the one that I just put out.
Mhm.
That is it. I think it solidifies kind of my spot in the sort of sound bank, of like where
Yeah.
what kind of stuff people would expect from me,
Mhm.
which is a really good feeling because it's something that I've had to face the pressure of for a long time, and now, I feel so comfortable and confident in doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to just because you have the eyes on you due to one song doesn't mean that people are gonna stay or, like, they'll continue to care once you put the next record out. I mean, and your songs just continually did well, like, so obviously the validation there of like, okay, this wasn't just like a fluke moment. The next song I put out had a bunch of, kind of continued with that momentum, which is huge because you'll hear other
Yeah,
artists that'll put out the next song and then it'll like no one will care, right? And then they're just
yeah.
gone.
I mean,
And
that's like
yours
the
continued.
worst nightmare, But
Right.
I think I think really it's, and I don't pretend to know what the answer is. I think a lot of it is luck, and
Mhm.
the songs that
And
people put
skill.
out. Yeah, well, yeah, of course. But I mean, as far as how it's received, because I think, you know, some of the stuff that people put out that you said that like it might seem like nobody cares about, is still an amazing song, and it's still something that they've done so well. And just for whatever reason, it doesn't connect the way before.
Sure.
And I think when that happens, because I've had songs that haven't done well, and if I put it out, or well, relative to the other ones at least, um,
Mhm.
and the way that I kind of put those in perspective is just, that one didn't work. Let's try something else. And I think this job is like the most special job on the universe, because it's not only is it something where you get to really connect with people and bare your soul, but it's also the only job I know of in the world that you have an opportunity to change your life every single day, and you just never know. You just go into a room and make music, and any line, any day, any moment, second could be the reason why your life is drastically different the next day. I think
That's
that's amazing.
Yeah, no, I've never heard anyone put it that way. That's so true, so true. You said you got signed, like, in April after, you put out the song in January, and then you get signed in April, and then are you eventually put out, Georgia Got Colder, and with that record, are you going on tour, or, like, what's kinda are they putting you in writing rooms with people, like,
After
that?
that, after Georgia got
or
cooler.
like even before that. Yeah, like after you get signed, it's like, okay, I have, I had this big record and I'm getting signed to a record label. Like this is pretty quick. I mean, within 4 months, right? And then are they kind of helping you navigate the industry, or like what was that like?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were wonderful. We vetted the crap out of our team, I think, and that was the most valuable thing we ever did, because I trust everybody really wholeheartedly on my team, and I think that's kind of a rare thing, believe it or not. But um,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I had no idea what I was doing when I still don't have any idea what I'm doing, but I, have like a slightly more, slightly less nonsensical perspective. But
Uh-huh.
before, I was just a kid. I was just a college kid. I was
Right.
playing on a soccer team, and so a lot of that period in April, I got signed in April, and then I graduated in December. So I graduated early, and that
Hmm.
whole period was a lot of just like figuring out. It was a lot of talking, like a lot of just sort of strategizing and trying different things and seeing what we like and learning. Um, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do that while still in college and getting my degree.
Hmm.
Um, but the moment that I graduated, it was like a month after I graduated. It was like a month after I graduated. Sorry, this is an
No,
announcement. Um,
I didn't even hear it.
I went on tour with Maisie Peters, which was like we were playing. That was the first time I'd ever played live, and
Well,
ever.
like
I
huge
had like,
rooms, I'd imagine,
well,
right?
I had played like guitar before live, but I had never actually gone up and played my music or sang or anything like that. I didn't know how to, run a show, anything. And like the first, 2 shows in, we're playing like 1,900,000 cap room, something like that. Which is a lot more people than you would think it is for having not played
Oh yeah,
any of the
that's
shows.
huge. That's like, yeah, exactly. That's massive.
Um, so yeah, it was, but that was awesome. And then after that, I just kept working, and then that was when I put uh, Georgia Colder out, and yeah, now started making this stuff.
Yeah. And then so you just put this out on Friday. Tell me about going into this project versus the other one. Like, was this a whole lot different, or was it just like, okay, I'm more experienced doing this now? I mean, you said that
Yeah, I mean,
like
I
now
just
it's like you have your voice, or you kind of found yourself, right?
yeah, that's really the songs feel comfortable for me in a way that like to be honest, the writing is a lot of it is uncomfortable. It was not easy for me to say a lot of that stuff, and I think that was a testament to where I I grew as a writer. Was just um, started saying the things that were hard to say, and
Mhm.
then the actual musical side of it, I really spent the year honing in my production because I found that I was just kind of facing so much resistance and trying to convince producers and writers to write my way. And trying to like, that's what I would spend time doing is just like fighting these suggestions that would take it away from my voice. And I completely recognize the value of collaboration, and I think some amazing things come out of it. But I was like, I like my music better when it's just when I can just close my eyes and let it fall out and not have to try to convince somebody. And so I was like, all right, this year I'm going to hunker down. I'm going to write on my own, and I'm going to hone in my production skills so that I can just, easiest answer if I can't get something to sound like something is to just figure it out, not send it to somebody or try to get somebody to do that for you. It's just figure it out yourself. So I spent a lot of time this year really honing that in, and kind of culminated, especially in the roads and in Save My Soul. Um, just that production has come such a long way, and I'm so happy with it. So yeah, and so from here on out, um, there should be debut album should be coming in next year. Hopefully, that would be unbelievable. But um, working on that'll be just all me in a room and just kind of tell some stories. That's what I'm going for.
So with this EP, was this all? Did you kind of do it yourself? Like, is it all self-produced and self-done?
Not all of it, but most of it. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
There's only one co-write, um, and only one other. There was Made Up My Mind had a
Yeah, feature on it.
someone had a feature and someone else produced that one. But other than that, I produced everything else and wrote everything else. And Ryan Hadlock helped me with the roads as well on the production. But yeah, that was a co-production.
Wow. And doing that, where'd you record it? Were you in Georgia when you did it?
With the roads or which one?
With the roads, like just the majority of it that you had done.
So I recorded that in Nashville.
Oh, okay. That's where I'm
at
at.
my nice, cool. Yeah, I split time between Nashville and where
Okay,
I am
cool.
now. But the yes, I recorded that in Nashville, and then Ryan recorded his parts, I believe in Washington, out in Washington State,
Okay.
which is pretty cool. So we did it remotely, but
All right.
it was a blast.
And you went into this record like after a trip back home, right? Wasn't that what kind of sparked the
Uh,
idea for it, or was I reading something totally wrong?
I didn't take a trip back home. I'm trying to think if there was some connection there.
I could see if I could find it, but yeah, I don't know.
No,
I remember
I don't
reading.
believe so. I don't believe so. I could just
My
be
bad.
no.
Maybe I
That's
have the
like
wrong information here.
I could be completely just misunderstanding or completely forgetting what I did. But
Okay.
this also has been in the works for a really long time. Like this project. You know, it's not like I just kind of chunked it all together in a few months. Like this was in progress for quite some time. And a lot of it didn't come together all at once either. These were individual songs created in different times that I put together for the project.
Okay.
Whereas the album, for example, that will be made all in one spot
Okay.
and all kind of like in one frame of mind, one sitting, you know.
Yeah. Do you feel like when you do the different places, like you spark different like creativity if
I don't
you're
like
one
it,
person?
honestly. I don't
Okay.
like doing one at a time. If it were up to me, I would do albums just
Everything.
because like yeah, there's so I don't necessarily like having to like try to retroactively justify a theme between
Uh-huh.
songs. Whereas like the theme of any album that you do or any piece of work that you do in one spot is your state of mind. Like whatever's on your mind in that period, it's a reflection of like your soul and your mind in that exact moment. So you kind of already have your timestamp on that. And I think I love that. Like I love that so much instead of having to like mix and match and be like, well, I was feeling this day and this day. And I know there's a lot of value in that, but just as someone who loves the words and the stories, I like when they're all, you know, lined up. And I think I get the first chance to do that like properly this coming year,
Um,
2024.
Amazing. And will you I just have a couple more questions. I was curious. Like,
Yeah.
will you do that like in the similar way as you wrote some of these songs or did the production on these songs on this EP where you want to pretty much be hands-on and then maybe collaborate with other people, but do a lot of it yourself?
Yeah. My plan is to do everything myself and then if I'm like feeling like it needs something creatively or like if it's missing something that I think somebody else can bring out, I think that's when I'll reach out and see if we can't find something. But yeah, I love just locking away in a room and just doing it myself, you know.
Yeah. I find that I would imagine that be kind of difficult in the if you're in a writing room with someone and trying to explain like, no, I want
No, and
this
it's no
production, or if it's
yeah.
somebody that's been, like, vetted or has, like, 5 hits and you're like and they're like, you kinda being like, I get it, like, you have this resume, but, like, this is what I want." You know what I
That
mean?
is very true, and but the issue too is like I go into sessions. I have total respect for sessions. I especially love sessions for other people.
Okay.
But I think I sessions can provide a lot of especially collaboration can, people hear things that you don't, and there's a lot of room for really magical things to happen in that.
Mhm.
And that value is not lost on me. But I think what it was for me was just, I could hear the compromise, and I was sacrificing the way that I wanted to tell the story, and the way that I was thinking. I was like, you know, these songwriters and producers, they're great, and they're known to be great. These people are, they have reputations of being great. They're great at what they do, and people come to them for what they do. So if I wanted to do what they do, exactly what they do, then I would just keep going to them. But why not do something that makes me great or makes me different? And makes, if I have a way that doesn't sit, a way of talking that doesn't sit right with
Mhm.
producers or songwriters or whatever it is, that's awesome. That's so great, because that means I'm doing something different. And that's
Mhm.
like, that's what I want. So, absolutely no disrespect to anyone. And I still love working with people. I really do. It's just a different sort of vibe. Especially when you're locking in for a project like this album, the first album. I want to just, that's going to be a very reflective sort of um, period for me, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've heard other people say similar things. It's like, I wanted to, like, there's a reason why, like, you have this vision and a sound that you want to, get off, and, like, yeah, other people have great ideas and have great resumes and have done great things, but it's like, what you want, and it's like, don't feel like you wanna compromise yourself or your art for something that,
Yeah,
yeah, and then
yeah,
if it doesn't succeed, you're like, "Well, it's because I didn't do what I I
yeah.
knew."
Right. Exactly. It's always whatever you didn't do. That's the answer. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
man.
doing this today. I have one more question. I wanna know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh man, I do. I mean, I could talk forever and ever and ever, but um, my best piece of advice. I have a few that I like to dish out, but um, one is, don't forget why you're trying to do what you're doing. If you're trying to do it to be famous, or if you're trying to do it to make money, or to please a TikTok audience, or to be like someone else, you can be inspired by somebody, but all of those things, you're not doing it for the right reasons. And I think that requires a little bit more soul searching. But if you're doing music, if you maintain that, if one person hears your music, then you're grateful, and you're grateful for the opportunity to be able to make music, to be healthy enough to make music, and to give somebody something that they wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. Um, if you keep that kind of center to everything you do, even when it's going bad, it's not going bad, because you have this wonderful gift to be able to do this every day, wake up and make this your reality, and just try. And if it fails, the beauty of music is you can just wake up and try again. And I think that is so, so cool. And the other thing is, it's just not that deep. That's my big I say that to myself all the times. I go so far down the rabbit hole of, well, this person's doing this, or this person left this comment, or this person, blah, 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 blah. Just meet it all with compassion. There is nothing that is that deep, or worth your sort of mental exhaustion like that. It is a beautiful thing to be able to live and to be able to make music. Um, the aspiring part of aspiring artist is the coolest part, because anything can happen. So that's my advice. Bringing it backward.